Edge of the gridiron spectrum is a byproduct of youth, something the Trojans have a plethora of this year. The same can be said of Jerry Pettibone's Oregon State Beavers. But unlike USC, they embrace a true democratic philosophy when it comes to football. If you don't like what they're doing, they give you an option, a spread option, and it's causing havoc everywhere. This afternoon, we will all find out whether the once proud Trojan defense can stop the #1 rushing attack in the Pac-10 Conference. Southern California and Oregon State. Our prime game of the week. You are looking live at Parker Stadium in Corvallis, Oregon, where Prime presents the Pac-10 Game of the Week. Today, the Oregon State Beavers host the Trojans of USC. Good afternoon again, everybody. I'm Phil Stone. For the players and coaches alike, life in the Pac-10 Conference this year has been equivalent to tiptoeing through a minefield. It's exhilarating if you get there intact, but heart-pounding just trying to get there. Rod Gilmore, you know Southern California and the Beavers of Oregon State know what I'm talking about.
Well, that's because both of them stepped on those mines last week. Oregon blew up USC 22-7, and Oregon State lost to Arizona 30-10.
And Southern California could well have its hands full with the Beavers this afternoon, because it was learned last night that USC quarterback Rob Johnson is not going to start, and he may not play at all.
Well, he sprained his right ankle against Oregon last week. I don't think we're going to see him, and that means that sophomore quarterback Brad Otten is going to make his first start for USC. Now, just because it's his first start doesn't mean he's inexperienced. You see his numbers there, but he started for Weber State last season, threw for over 2,300 yards. But if he's going to be successful today, he needs to have a balanced attack around him. And that means that USC is going to have to do something like what they did against Baylor a couple of weeks ago, when they had a very good run and pass ratio. You see the rushing attempts 45 and the passing attempts 42. That was a very good offensive output for them. Then the following week against Oregon, they lost it all. They were way out of whack. 54 passes and only 20 running plays. That is not balanced.
Well, Rod, the balance has also been a problem for the USC Trojan defense. Surprising when you look and see USC's defense dead last in this conference.
Well, John Robinson is playing a number of young players, freshmen and sophomores, and that accounts for the up and down and the inconsistent nature of their play.
Well, for the second straight year, this Oregon State Beaver offense is ranked #1 in the Pac-10 in rushing, and they've got a sophomore quarterback who's the catalyst of that attack.
Well, Don Shanklin, he's a great option quarterback. He reminds me an awful lot of J.C. Watts, Thomas Lott, the great quarterbacks from Oklahoma, and that's because he has the ability to make a big play from anywhere on the field. He has outstanding speed, and he can make guys miss.
The third man on our telecast team is our sideline guru, and Paul Sunderland has taken his position here at Parker Stadium. Paul?
All right, guru, I like it, Phil. It took you a couple seasons to get it right, but today's a good day for it. We look over here, you see the Beaver. Yes, we're at Oregon State, and Jerry Pettibone had this statue erected here when he was named head coach in 1992. Now, tradition has it that all the players and coaches pass by this Beaver, pat him on the head for good luck to go out into battle. Now, one group that should spend a little extra time here today are the running backs for Oregon State. They run that high-risk option offense, and they have already lost 9 fumbles so far this year, worst in the Pac-10. If they want to pull a huge upset today, which they have the opportunity to do, they can't drop it on the carpet. Back up to you.
Well, the only time the Oregon schools swept SC in the same year, Rod, was way back in 1957. Now, when you take and set up your easel for this one, do you paint it cardinal and gold, or you go with the orange and black?
You're determined to make me look bad. I don't think anyone can predict what's going to happen in this ball game or this conference.
Well, if the electricity in the air means anything, this should be one terrific football game. It's the Beavers of Oregon State and the Trojans of Southern California. Goes helmet to helmet at the 27-yard line, dives out to the 29. Corey Hewitt is the first guy to get to him, the 6'3" outside linebacker out of Anaconda, Montana.
Well, not surprising that John Robinson has come out with Sean Walters running the football. Robinson determined to get back to the running game that he abandoned last week against Oregon.
Now, John Robinson, this is his 101st game as head coach of the Trojans of Southern California. Was here in the late 70s through the early 80s, took 10 years off, and is now back. 3rd and 1 from the 29. Walters a third straight time, and he's going to be knocked down short of the first down. Knifing in to drop him is the man I spoke of a moment ago, Kane Rogers.
Well, Oregon State counting on going toe-to-toe with USC here, and they know they aren't big enough, so they slant their defensive linemen and scrape their linebackers to the outside. You see Kane Rogers flying in there to make a low leg tackle on Sean Walters.
Now they're going to measure for the first down, and he should. Just as we thought, he's a little bit longer than the length of a football. So for Southern California, it'll be 3 and out on their first possession. John Stonehouse will come on to punt it away. Stonehouse, a junior from Pasadena. And Mark Williams is back to receive for Oregon State inside the Beavers' 35-yard line. Mark Williams, he's a sophomore out of Dallas, Texas. Stonehouse standing at his own 14-yard line. Beavers with 9 players on the line. See if they come out. They're sending everybody. Stonehouse on a snap, and it's blocked, partially blocked. Williams is going to let it roll and hold at the Trojans. Dodge a bullet there. Stonehouse is down. There's a Beaver down.
Well, one of the Beavers that's down is J.J. Young on the special teams came in and delivered a shot to Stonehouse and got a piece of the ball. Your star running back on the special teams for you trying to block a kick. You'll see J.J. Young coming from the bottom of the screen. They're going to have 3 or 4 Oregon State guys get in there. USC doesn't protect it very well. There's J.J. Young. He lays out, gets the leg and part of the ball, knocks Stonehouse down. See the high snap, but still the blocking was very poor by USC.
A 50-yard punt in spite of a partial block by J.J. Young. Beavers with the ball at their own 21-yard line. Shanklin's the quarterback, and there's the wishbone behind him. Stewart straight ahead. Boy, I look for Oregon State, Rod, against this 4-3, or what is in essence a 6-1 defense, to run the ball inside the tackle box all day. Let's look at this Beaver offense brought to you by Southwest Airlines. J.J. Young, he's got a bruised quad. The question is, how effective will he be? And the receivers pretty much statues in this offense. Joe Douglas and the tight end Justin Moore. And the offensive line keyed by Johnny Fenga. He's the center in this past week, invited to play in the Hula Bowl. McGee was 6. It's 2nd and 4 from the 27-yard line. Again, straight ahead it goes, and it's Stewart once more. He's got a first down out across the 32. Southern California defensively, this is where the Trojans' problems have been. Willie Lowry, he is a speedy defensive end. A couple of sacks already this year. The linebacking core, the man who keys it, is Jeff Kopp. He is really the rallying point of this Trojan defense. And the secondary, it is a patched-up secondary, and today Brian Kelly, a true freshman from Denver, Colorado, gets the start at left corner. The Trojans trying anything and everything to stop the defensive bleeding. First down, Beavers at the 34. Shanklin looking sideline. It is caught. Running free at the 40-yard line. The 25. Cut from behind. And down he goes at the 5-yard line. Cameron Reynolds.
Well, this is the added dimension. Whoa. Dimension that Don Shanklin gives you. He is the first option quarterback Oregon State has had that can really throw the football. He puts the ball on the money to Cameron Mitchell, who beat Brian Williams out of the backfield and goes a long way to getting Oregon State in position to score on his opening drive.
First and goal, Oregon State. Fumbled on the exchange. Who's got it? It's recovered near the goal line. I mean, right on top of the goal line. Looks like it could be Starling Latu, the right guard for the Beavers. The ball is over the goal line, but there are no hands in the air. There we go up. Touchdown, Oregon State. Now the officials are going to talk it over.
Well, That's the right call. Fumbled snap. The ball will... Watch this here. Watch the Oregon State players. They won't react to the football. They seem not to realize they can recover right there. Crisscross 84 sees it. J.D. Stewart is there. They let it go. It's picked up by Micah Phillips, a very heads-up play. And then he gets great blocking from his teammates and makes a great cutback here. And the SC team is hustling down to give additional blocks to escort Phillips into the end zone. 6-2, Oregon State. A reversal of fortunes. Now John Robinson certainly has to like what he has seen from his special teams thus far. Heads-up play by the Trojans. You don't see that every day. There is Micah Phillips, lost his starting role today to Mario Bradley, a junior college transfer out of Cerritos Community College. Micah saying, hey, don't forget about me, coach. Yeah, it does. 11:44 to play in the opening period, 6-2, Beavers. And here again is Brook Knight to kick it away. And again, it will be Ken Grace. He's a couple of yards deep, and he's going to go down on the knee. Oh, he had a notion to bring it out. Larry Parker wisely talked him out of it, touchback. And here come the Trojans. They'll begin at their own 20-yard line. Don Shank. I had an opportunity to visit with him yesterday down on the field. And I asked him, if you could change one thing about your offense, Don, what would you change? And he kind of smiled from ear to ear, looked away, and looked me right in the eyes and said, I want to pass it more.
What does any quarterback say?
I want to throw it.
Option or not, they all like to throw it.
Motion to the near side of Tyler Kyson, the H-back. Looking this side, Kyson's got it, and he is tattooed right at the line of scrimmage. William Ephraim, 5'10" senior, left corner on the hit.
That's a heck of a play by Ephraim because he made that tackle about 1 yard downfield, and that was a nice dump off by Brad Otten. You'll see that USC does a good job of picking up the blitz. 49 Petrini coming in, but right now 18 Ephraim there to make the play, stop USC from really picking up much yardage. Only a gain of 1 yard, Phil.
Well, that's 180 pounds running into a moving 235 pounds. The team is a yard. Second down. He is out to the 29-yard line, loses the football. He was down. The line judge said nope. Knee was down. Now a late flag goes in. So Southern California will retain possession. Now it could be a late hit against Oregon State. And the official's going to talk it over. Now Jim Springer will explain that.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Late hit offense. Third down. 15.
You know what happens, Phil, is that linemen are taught to go down the field and give blocks to the back downfield. And you'll catch a lineman will clean up the pile. You'll see 66. Hadabaugh will come down late after the ball comes out, and he will hit a player a little bit late. Right now, he'll come into the picture right there. There's the late hit on Ephraim. He's got to catch the earlier train to make that hit. Clay Hannibal, a backup guard team today, replacing the left guard Chris Pollock, who has had to shift over to play right guard because Phelan Pounds and Kyle Ramsey are out. Hutton going far side, pass intended for Keyshawn Johnson. He overthrows him at the 44-yard line.
Oregon State may have gotten away with one there. It looked like there was some contact down the field. They were fortunate not to have pass interference called.
A week ago against Oregon, Southern California did not have a
single 3-down and out situation the entire game. This is their second in as many attempts. Stonehouse to punt it away again. Oregon State showing they're going to bring everybody. Mark Williams is back at the 48. This time Stonehouse gets it away. Williams wants to return it. He's got it at the 48. And he's not going anywhere. Tackled and hit hard by Gerald Carruthers. The clock will stop when we...
line.
Oregon State scored on their first possession, had the point after blocked and returned all the way. 100 yards for the 2 points for Southern California. That's where we stand. Jerry Pettibone in his 4th year here at Oregon State. I tell you, the wishbone has been a part of his football background from the get-go.
Yeah, he's had some good ones, hasn't he? He was over at Oklahoma as an assistant, coached some great running backs there. Northern Illinois after that.
Misdirection. Here comes J.J. Young. His first carry today dives into the 46. The gain is 2. And he is dropped by Israel Ifyani. Let's go down to the sidelines in Paul Sunderland. Paul.
Well, Phil, the game's off to an unusual start, no doubt about that. But one thing interesting that Mike Summers, offensive coordinator for Oregon State, said, look, Cameron Reynolds is going to be the man today. Everybody's trying to take away J.J. Young and Don Shanklin, but you haven't seen the best of Cameron Reynolds as yet. We certainly did in that opening drive. Caught the pass, drove the ball down the field. And Oregon State dropped it, but they fell on their own fumble. A little bit of good luck from the Beaver down below. Back to you.
2nd down and 7 from the 46-yard line. Again, here come the Beavers from the wishbone. SC showing blitz. Nope, they back out of it. Shanklin. Now the pitch comes to the near side. It's Cameron Reynolds, and he cannot turn the corner. Inside the 40 to the 39, close to a first down.
Very good read by Don Shanklin that time. USC came with the blitz up the middle. Shanklin saw that the fullback dive wasn't there and took it to the outside. You'll see him right now in the middle of the screen. Shanklin 5 sees the blitz coming, pulls it out, options Heron, number 10, gets outside and realizes that he can turn into a blocker now and make some room for Cameron Reynolds. Good job by Don Shanklin running the option there.
3rd and less than 1. Watch J.D. Stewart, the man closest to the quarterback, Don Shanklin. Stewart. Oh, second effort. He ran right into Shanklin, bounced off, went through the hole in behind Darren Border, and got the first down.
Yeah, and behind Johnny Fanga, too. Let me tell you something. USC is going to have to change their defense. They are looking at trying to play it soft up the middle, leaving 58 Johnny Fanga uncovered. And he's a great center. He may be an all-conference center, and he is free to roam and double on a tackle or get out and get the linebacker. USC is going to have to contain Oregon State center, number 58, Johnny Fanga.
First down, Oregon State at the 34-yard line of Southern California. Shanklin hits J.J. one-on-one. Can he get around Herpin? To the 20, helmet to helmet, still on his feet. Touchdown! Touchdown, Oregon State! J.J. Young put his helmet into the midsection of John Herpin. Herpin has not gotten up yet.
Oh, everybody talks about his speed. Yeah, this is a great job by Don Shanklin to get it to J.J. Young. You talk about the speed, but watch what he does here. This is toughness. This is a football player making it happen. This is a guy who can play on Sundays. This is a defensive back's most embarrassing moment and a nightmare. And this is exactly what a running back hopes to be able to do. Show you the speed, and then right now, bam! Herpin is still down.
And J.J. Young is still celebrating. Now Herpin is up and trotting off under his own power. 2 weeks ago against Baylor, Rod, the Baylor Bears on their first 2 possessions, they scored against this SC defense. Same story a week ago against Oregon.
Well, trouble for USC right now. Absolute trouble. And the thing is, Phil, Oregon State is being more physical than USC right now. And that was exemplified by the way J.J. Young ran over Herpin in the open field.
Yeah, you had a feeling talking to Jerry Pettibone yesterday in his office. There was a gleam in his eye, and you just had the feeling something's up here in Corvallis.
This is not the Oregon State team that people have heard about over the years. This is a different, more physical kind of team.
Randy Lund, good snap, ball is up. This time there'll be no return of the conversion attempt. It's good. And with 8:26 to play, make the tackle. He allowed Rico Petrini to move up and knock him down, but it was Ina who caused Walters to have to alter his path through the line.
You're exactly right, Phil. And it's really amazing what Oregon State is doing. They're bringing everybody in almost every play. 7, 8 guys going after the quarterback to sort of force them to clog up all the running lanes. And it's really sort of a hit-and-miss thing for USC. They will break a couple of big plays, but if they don't get touchdowns, Oregon State doesn't care. They'll keep blitzing until they're really hurt by it.
The loss is 1. Keyshawn Johnson now goes wide to the left. This is the top of your screen. Again, that's the H-back Cashman in motion, and once more, here comes Sermons, and he's not going anywhere. He gets to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. Tony Hewitt, a sophomore defensive end from Anaconda, Montana, is there to drop him.
A gain of a yard.
You'll see the movement by the Oregon State defensive line. Good job up top. Kane Rogers coming from the bottom. But you see 93 really moving very well down there. Tony Hewitt going across, making the play, getting off the block to make the tackle.
Now they're back to the original line of scrimmage, which is the 30-yard line, where it's 3rd and 10. And listen to this crowd here at Parker. Throws Cashman, and a penalty flag is down at the 20-yard line, and they may get Oregon State for pass interference. Michael Hale was there. Reggie Tung also close by.
Yeah, Michael Hale got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He really had Cashman wrapped up out there. You got to be a lot more subtle if you're going to get away with pass interference.
Holding defense before the pass is thrown. 10 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Now, Rod, you played cornerback in Stanford. How do you hold somebody subtly?
You think I'm going to tell you that one? I think
I would kill me. Right?
I would be thrown out of the DB coverage. You see the overthrow there. But yeah, I could tell you, but I would have to kill you, Phil. It's a secret that defensive backs guard closely, and former DBs.
1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Here comes Sermons. Oh, plenty of running room. He's at the 10 and cut down at the 9. Reggie Tung cut his ankles out from under him. And it'll be a first down, 1st and goal at the 9. Rodney Sermons, a 6-foot freshman from Diamond Bar.
Now, USC has really gone to the trap play, the counter tray, using their pulling guards from the left side to get around the inside and clogging up things, opening up some things with those 2 linemen pulling. They've been able to catch Oregon State with a couple of blitzes, and it's going to be hit and miss for USC. They have to understand that and be patient.
Sermons is the tailback. The up back is Terry Barnum. Cashman comes in motion to the bottom. Here comes Sermons again, and this time he is cut down at the 8. The gain is 1, maybe 2. Now, Rod, you commented when Southern California took control of the football out across the 20-yard line that this would be an important possession for John Robinson's Trojans.
Well, I'm sure that John Robinson gathered his troops and he said, we got to be physical. We're going to run the football. Understand it. There are no quick and easy solutions this time. Get tough, get out there, and just hit people.
Well, they have certainly done it, and done it well here on their 3rd possession of this first quarter. 3:36 to play. Oregon State 13, Southern California 2. Sermons again, and he is grabbed and bent backwards at the 6-yard line, where it will be 3rd and goal.
Now, if Rob Johnson were available, he probably would see John Robinson calling plays a little bit differently. He probably would have thrown the ball on that 2nd down, but Johnson has a sprained ankle. He doesn't have a helmet on. I don't look for him to play today.
I certainly concur. Double wideouts to the left. There goes Grace and Larry Parker in the slot. To the bottom, it's Keyshawn Johnson. Third down and goal. Otten looking for Johnson. Hit from behind, and the ball sails out of bounds. And what a hit it was. Michael Hale is the guy that got to the backside of Brad Otten.
Well, you see that USC breaks the backfield. They don't have protection, and Otten can't feel the pressure coming from the backside. That was an automatic blitz by Hale. He looked up and realized there was no blocking, no protection from that side, and he had a clear shot, and he just went right away. Good job by Michael Hale.
Now the Trojans want to call a timeout to talk things over on 4th and goal. And while they talk things over, we'll step away. 2:42 to play in the first period. Stalled at the 6-yard line. Ford, thus far 4 of 6 on the year. From the hold of Ryan Linderman. Good snap, good placement. And the kick is good. Clock stops with 2:38 remaining here in the first period. Southern California now narrows the score to 13-5. Now Jerry Pettibone in his 4th year as head coach of the Beavers of Oregon State. He talked to us earlier and says he believes his team has finally arrived.
I feel good now about what our offense was able to do against an excellent Arizona defense last week. And I think our players have the confidence now that if they execute well, that they can move the ball on anybody.
Well, certainly thus far here in the first period, they have not only executed well, but they have moved the ball on somebody, namely the Trojans.
Yeah, the Trojans have not stopped USC yet, and John Herpin, number 1 for USC, is still wondering who that runaway train was that knocked him over on a way to a 34-yard touchdown. It was J.J. Young.
Beautiful fall afternoon here in the Pacific Northwest. Temperature now right about 70 degrees. Wind is not a problem. No rain in the forecast until at least tomorrow. As Southern California gets set to kick it away, Cole Ford will handle the kicking duties.
Well, Phil, even though the USC drive stalled out and they only got 3 points out of it, that was a good drive for them because they did establish the running game. They were able to move the ball down the field, so John Robinson has to be pleased that they were able to do at least that.
J.J. Young and Terrence Blackwell deep, and it's Blackwell. He's got it at the 2-yard line. SC, great special teams coverage. And I mean terrific coverage. Brian Haas is the man who delivered the smash on Blackwell. Let's go down on the field and Paul Sunderland.
Well, Phil, SC did move the ball extremely well, but I'm thinking back to Jerry Pettibone's comments about his offense's efficiency against Arizona. I was talking to some of the key players and coaches for Oregon State and said, hey, is this a hump game for you? He came so close to winning some big games last year. They lost 4 games by a total of 17 points, and they said, no. The hump was last week going down to Arizona and playing them face-to-face and almost beating them, at least for 3 quarters, down in Tucson. They feel like they have a great deal of confidence coming into this game today. Back to you.
Now they've got the ball at the 21-yard line. They have not been stopped yet.
Well, they've got to stop the fullback. I mean, when you play an option football team, you have got to stop the fullback first and foremost. And USC has not stopped Oregon State's fullback at all. And that has opened up the outside for Oregon State.
Well, when you stop Oregon State's fullback, Rod Gilmore, they just bring another one in. Yeah, they got J.D. Stewart. They got Cedric Thomas. Then they counter you with Raul Morgan.
Well, they have a number of them, but USC has got to find a way to deal with Johnny Fanga, the center. They still are leaving him uncovered, and he's double down blocking on the tackles, or he's getting free to get to the inside linebackers.
Shanklin loses the football and falls on it. Oregon State will retain possession. Well, that has certainly been the bugaboo for this Oregon State offense this year. Not so much that they've been stopped. They have stopped themselves repeatedly.
Right. This is one of the high-risk things with the option. You do so much handling with the football that you will fumble it a lot, and that's not a clean read. You see that Shanklin wanted to pull it out and run the option, and he and J.D. Stewart weren't clear on it.
Well, Oregon State thus far on the year, you look at what they did this year thus far, 15 fumbles. They've lost 9. That's tops in the Pac-10. And they also led in that dubious statistic a year ago when they coughed it up 37 times and lost it 20 times. 3rd and 6 from the 25. Shanklin to the near side. Cameron Reynolds wants to turn the corner, needs to get to the 31-yard line, and he'll be stopped short. And the Beavers are going to have to unload the football. Gerald Henry strung it out and knocked him out of bounds.
Good anticipation by the USC defense. They actually induced Donnie Shanklin to check off and run that play to the left. And SC moved their defense slightly at the last minute to get enough guys over there to handle it.
Now Doug Stuckey is going to come on to boot it away. He's averaging 35 yards a punt, a sophomore from Newport Beach, California. And Ken Grace is back at the 29-yard line for Southern California. Good snap. And Stuckey gets it away. High, spiraling punt. Grace falls forward. He's got it at the 31. Wants to get to the far side, and there's nothing but Beavers. A 43-yard punt. There'll be no return. 13-5, Oregon State with 53 seconds to play. There's a final in from Seattle. Washington all over San Jose State, 34-20.
Florida 42-18 over LSU. They'll roll on as number 1.
Colorado. Are they going to play a home game this year?
I don't know. They're playing awfully well, though. You see Michigan came alive against Michigan State, 40-20.
Now stay with us at halftime as we bring you all of the college football scores on College Football Today's Halftime Report. Glenn Walker assures me he is standing by, ready and able to bring you not only the scores, but a plethora of highlights. Ahead it goes. That's Walters. Runs into Reggie Tung, the junior free safety from Fort Wainwright, Arkansas. But what a year Reggie Tung is having. 3 interceptions, Rod, 2 of them for touchdowns.
And USC is really pulling out all the stops here to try to get things going. You see, they set the I-back over there, the fullback over there, moved him out instead of this position so he can get out there and block. And that opens up holes quickly for Sean Walters. You see 21 Terry Barnum out there blocking out wide, and that immediately opens up a lane for Sean Walters.
Oughton, over the middle it goes. Got Keyshawn Johnson. Johnson, the junior college transfer out of West Los Angeles Community College. And he grew up as a ball boy for the Trojans. Always wanted to play for Southern California.
Now this pass will help Oughton quite a deal. You see that he almost aims this ball right in there to Keyshawn Johnson, and getting that completion over the middle early on will help him be more confident. And Keyshawn Johnson did a very good job of going down low to come up with that grab.
1st and 10, the ball at the 49-yard line, and that is going to be the end of the first period. Don't go away.
Wade Everett with a convoy to the end zone, 66 yards. The Wolfpack tie the Cards at 14-14. That's the score in the third. Anthony Shellman coming off a career best day last week against Pittsburgh. 12 tough, speedy yards to the corner. 21-14 Louisville. They've now extended to 35-14. It looks like North Carolina State.
Well, 35 times.
Now, thus far, Walters has carried it 10 carries for 48 yards. Not a bad per carry average at all. 2nd down and 5. And here he comes again. Walters, he's got the first down and bangs to the 19-yard line.
Well, you know what I liked about the way he ran with that carry? He covered up the ball, and he had that forward lean. He was not trying to juke guys or anything. He wanted to be a powerful running back and pick up positive yardage and keep this drive going.
Now, Sean Walters, he's going to make a living in this conference running straight ahead. He's more of a power runner. He's not your shifty scat back type of runner at all. I was talking to John Robinson about Sean a week ago, and he said once Walters understands and believes he is a power runner, he's going to be a force in the Pac-10. That's Sermons. And look at him go. 1-2 punch. Sean Walters take him out, give him a breather, and bring in the true freshman from Diamond Bar, California, Corey Hewitt on the tackle at the 11-yard line.
Yeah, Sermons does a real good job of following the fullback here. You'll see straight on blocking by USC. They turn out the nose tackle there, and you see the fullback Barnum, 21, leading in there and gets a great block on 17, Kane Rogers, and that just opens it up for Sermons. You'll see the hole right there. 21 Barnum really drove Kane Rogers out of the hole, and that allowed Sermons to squirt through and pick up yardage.
From the I formation, Sermons is the tailback. He's got the football. Straight ahead he goes, picks his way in behind Chris Polak and Norberto Garrido. Norberto Garrido, not a bad selection to run behind. Garrido's the right tackle, tips the scales at 305 pounds.
Yeah, he does a real good job of blocking, but watch the fullback here. You're going to get some blocking over here by this guy, but watch the way he leads the play into the hole. And if you stay with your fullback, he'll do a real good job for you. He takes on Petrini that time and does a real good job of opening up a hole once again for the tailback.
First and goal, Southern California. Walters is back in at tailback. He's got the football. Walters, 5 Beavers to bring him down at the 2-yard line. The attack led by Rico Petrini and Corey Hewitt.
Yeah, the other thing that's good about this kind of a drive for USC is that it's slow, methodical. It has taken the crowd out of the game a little bit in the sense that they look up and they go, geez, it's 13-5 and SC is moving. We don't have a lot to get excited about right now, so there isn't as much enthusiasm now for the Oregon State fans.
Rod, you talked at the top of our telecast about the fact that a week ago SC was 2-1 in favor of the pass against Oregon. Today they've rushed it 20 times and only thrown it 6. Sermons straight ahead, and he's going to be stopped way short. It'll be 3rd down and goal. And again, Corey Hewitt met Rodney Sermon's head on.
This is a real key play coming up for USC to see how they approach it. You see the blocking here, and a real good job by Kane Rogers that time coming up, stuffing the hole, and then Oregon State rallying to the football. But what does John Robinson do now? If he runs this ball, this tells you that he has a heck of a lot of confidence in his team, and he wants to send a message that they need to play tough football and not a play-action pass or anything like that. This is just hard-nosed, goal-line football.
Tailback is Walters. He's got the football. No, they're going to throw it, and it's good. Touchdown, Tyler Cashman. Great play action. Walters went up and over the top, didn't have the football, and he deked everybody in orange and black.
Yeah, tremendous job by USC. But if you're Oregon State, you got to feel pretty good because it tells you USC did not believe they could gain a half-yard running directly at you. But USC now has more confidence in its quarterback in the sense that he knows he can do the play pass and throw the touchdown. Good fake here by Sean Walters. You see 77 Pollock out there providing some blocking just in case Cashman catches the ball for a touchdown.
Cashman thus far on the day, Rodney, 2 catches for 2 yards and a touchdown. Your per catch average not particularly impressive.
Yeah, but the end result's pretty good.
The end result is excellent. And the Trojans are going to go for 2. But 10:22 to play in the second quarter. Straight ahead it goes to Walters. He's got it. He has got the 2-point conversion. And suddenly we are tied at 13 with 10 minutes and 22 seconds to play in the first half. Southern California, they fell behind early 13-2, and since they have come roaring back. Quarter and a half has played very, very well. He threw the 1-yard touchdown pass to Tyler Cashman. It capped a 69-yard drive with a 2-point conversion by Sean Walters, and that's where we stand. Full forward to kick it away. And down on the knee is Terrence Blackwell. Well, the touchback, the Beavers will have it at the 20-yard line. Let's go down to Paul Sunderland.
Well, Phil, SC gets back in the football game, and the happiest man on the Trojan sidelines is defensive coordinator Don Lindsay. I was talking to him right before the kickoff, and he said, hey, look, we only got 2 days to prepare for this wishbone attack, and the best thing our team can do today is put some points on the board and really run some clock with long drives. I do not want to have to play defense against 70 or 80 offensive snaps for Oregon State, and the USC offense is giving him just that. Back to you.
Tim Alexander is in at quarterback now for Oregon State. He's the true freshman from Sarasota. Coming to the near side. Turns the corner and goes out of bounds at the 26. Tim Alexander ran the 100 meters in 10.43 seconds. Jerry Pettibone said in his 29 years as a coach, he's the fastest option quarterback he's ever seen. They're just trying to get him into the lineup.
Yeah, they want to work him in a little bit. He is as big a recruit for Oregon State football as Jason Kidd was for California basketball. I mean, he has the ability to attract other stars to Oregon State to run the option.
When he arrived on campus here, I understand there was a media frenzy. Stations here from Portland, Medford, Roseburg. They came from all over. 2nd down and 5. pressured, and oh, he is going to be wrapped up and bent backwards. Matt Kennelly, the sophomore nose guard out of Laguna Hills, California, on the tackle. Flag is down out at the 24-yard line. Now Tim Alexander ran the option, Sarasota High School.
Defense, 5 yards.
Now you heard the call. Offside against Southern California, so that will nullify a pretty good sack.
You know, it's also kind of an odd time that Jerry Pettibone would make the change and put Alexander in, considering that USC just had a long drive. You might think that you want to get your starting quarterback back out there, get some continuity going before you make the change. I don't think anyone expects Alexander to come in and have a big series, a big drive, and momentum is already with USC right now.
Joe Douglas, the wideout, splits wide to the left. Again, the true freshman from Sarasota is over center. Comes to the near side, elects to keep it himself, brings it inside, and dives out across the 35. Well, Alexander, he passed up Nebraska. He passed up Oklahoma, the University of Michigan, to attend Oregon State. Partly because he wanted to play quarterback, and he wanted to continue to play wishbone football.
Yeah, and he knew that he could only do that here because he was going to be converted to a running back or a defensive back at one of the other schools.
Now, Southern California thus far has had the ball for 29 plays. They've run it 22 times. This is Oregon State's 14th play of the game. They've run it 12. On 2nd down and 6, Alexander. Again, he'll way shy of the first down as he moves it out to the 37 before Ryan Williams from his outside linebacker spot comes up to knock the young man down.
Well, if you're going to put him in there, you might as well let him take a few shots and get comfortable. So Alexander has come in and has kept the ball on the option, running really the kind of the speed option, getting out there, not really much of a dive play, getting to the outside in a hurry, and he's taken a couple shots and picked up some yardage.
You talked about an unusual time to bring Tim Alexander into the ballgame. You just wonder if perhaps Don Shanklin has re-injured his foot that he bruised a week ago at Arizona. I asked him yesterday about the foot. He said very painful to walk on. But he felt when the adrenaline got going, he'd be just fine. Now the officials are going to move in to stop everything. And we've got to have a timeout. An official timeout. It comes with 8:23 to play.
Oregon State, number 1.
Oregon State's first time out. So while they talk things over, we'll step away. We'll return to Corvallis in a minute. Tied with 8:23 to play in the second quarter. Let's go to Paul Sunderland.
Well, the news down here is really no news. Don Shanklin is just fine. Tim Alexander, a big recruit, as you've mentioned, a player with an awful lot of talent out of Florida. And people were just saying along the sidelines that they just wanted an opportunity to get him into the football game. Oregon State's been on the road the last 3 weeks, and they wanted to give him his first big chance at home. This is a big chance against USC. Oregon State's offense has been struggling just a little bit, but this is a player with a lot of talent and a lot of potential here at Oregon State, but Shanklin is just fine. Back to you.
3rd and 3 for Tim Alexander and the Beavers of Oregon State. The junior fullback from Fremont, California. Straight ahead it goes. And that is really where Oregon State has been beating the Trojans secondary to the punch.
Yeah, exactly. Right after Alexander made his call, USC changed. They jumped into a different defense, and Oregon State was still able to run the fullback up the middle, slide him off the side. You'll see the double blocking right there at the point of attack, and then Stewart does a real good job of sliding back out to the right side off of the block to pick up the first down.
First game of the year where Oregon State center Johnny Finga has had nobody line up right over him. First down, straight ahead it goes once more. That's J.D. Stewart. You know, what does it do when you're uncovered there, Rod?
Well, when Fenga is uncovered in the middle as the center, he has an opportunity to block on different folks. You'll see him now double down on the tackle to the right, number 92, Kennelly. He does a good job of driving him off. And if Stewart had cut that ball back behind Fenga, he would have picked up more yardage.
As it was, he picked up 3 at 2nd down and 7 on the 43-yard line of Southern California, tied at 13 with 7 minutes and 17 seconds to play in the second period. Cameron Reynolds at the 41. The gain is 2. It'll be 3rd down and along 4, maybe 5.
Well, Cameron Reynolds would have picked up the first down had he not been tackled by his face mask. I don't think the official saw that one, and there's some booing from the fans now, but he was jerked down by the face mask.
Now, the problem with that is there are only 7 officials. There's 36,000 fans. 3rd down and along 5. The ball is at the 41-yard line. Alexander up and over. It's incomplete, intended for Reynolds at the 19-yard line. Ryan Kelly, great coverage. Kelly, a true freshman from Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, and they really like him at USC. They think he is a playmaker. He does a real good job. But watch Alexander sell the fake here. Look at the chop steps there, trying to indicate that he's running. Then he just pulls it down and throws the ball. Gets it right out there for Reynolds, but Kelly does a great job of coming over from the offside and knocking it down.
That'll bring Doug Stuckey into the game. He's the sophomore punter for Oregon State. Ken Grace back at the 10-yard line for Southern California. 6:24 remaining in the first half. Good snap. No rush whatsoever, and Stuckey's going to put it straight up in the air. Angling it for the sideline, and out of bounds it goes at the 24-yard line. Whoa, my. About a 17-yard punt. They're going to call it a 16-yard effort. So it's 6 minutes and change. It'll be SC's ball, and we're tied at 13. Next weekend, the Pac-10 Game of the Week will come to you from Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington, as the Washington State Cougars take on the undefeated Wildcats of Arizona. I'll tell you, if you like defensive football, this could be one of the great games of the year. We'll watch Washington State's Dwayne Patterson match move for move with Wildcat nose tackle Teddy Bruschi. That's next Saturday at 6:30 Eastern. Arizona and Washington State here on Prime. 1st and 10. Here comes Sean Walter. He's going nowhere. Reggie Tongue. What a great job he did knifing through the offensive line.
Well, you know, that's a case of a guy seeing something and going right after it. And that's what you want to do if you're a good football player. No hesitation whatsoever. Watch the bottom of your screen. You're going to see number 25 show up at the last second here. He just comes flying up and goes right after Sean Walters, brings him down by the shirt. Straight arm there by Sean Walters, but Reggie Tongue stayed with it and made a fine tackle.
Loss is 1, a long one. They're calling it 2nd and 11. It's more like 2nd and 12. Here comes Sermons. He'll get out to about the 27-yard line.
Oregon State has backed off of the combination blitzes. They are not sending 2 linebackers or 2 linebackers and a safety man now. They've settled down. They're firing 1 linebacker or so because they got burned on that last drive a lot. So USC is now adjusting a little bit to Oregon State.
Well, you get the feeling early on Oregon State's first couple of defensive schemes, maybe they were a little over-aggressive.
They were rolling the dice quite a bit.
3rd down and 7 from the 27 for Southern California. Here comes the blitz by the Beavers. Martin sees it, delivers it to the near side, and is caught by Johnson. A first down at the 46-yard line. Coverage by Mark Williams.
Well, great play for USC, but for Oregon State, it doesn't really work. They don't get the blitz there in time, and they're sending guys right up the middle. They'll be coming this way, but what you don't see is a guy out here, number 21, Buster Elahi, and he's the guy that they want to get free. Elahi gets picked up because the inside guys they know are going to get picked up, but Elahi isn't there to make the play. A great job by Keyshawn Johnson going up, catching the ball at its highest point.
First down at the 46-yard line. There's the H-back. Tyler Cashman is in motion. Again, the Beavers showing blitz. They clog up the running lanes. And Sean Walters has nowhere to go. Correction, Rodney Sermons. That's Sermons' 11th carry of the afternoon. He's got 51 yards. Sean Walters with 13 carries for 60 yards.
You think USC is showing the will to run the football more this week than they have in the past?
Now, John Robinson said following that devastating loss to the Oregon Ducks that he thought perhaps he got out-coached a little bit, that they left what they do best.
I don't buy that. I think what John Robinson did was he was coaching his football team. He knows he can handle the pressure of that loss, and he didn't want his young team to take the blame and think they weren't very good.
2nd down and 8. again. Ahead it goes to Walters as he bangs it to the 40-yard line. Packy Ina, along with Keen Rogers, bring Walters down.
You know, Phil, losing to Oregon could have been a very devastating thing for USC. And I think what John Robinson did was excellent coaching. He said, okay, I can handle the pressure. I will step forward. I will say, this is my fault. I did a poor job of coaching. We weren't ready. And that allows the players to say, okay, well, coach said that. Coach is right. We'll just go out and play the next game. I think that's great coaching.
Third down and 4 from the 40-yard line. Lawton under pressure over the middle and goes. It's complete. Again, it's Keyshawn Johnson. And he wrestles, fights, and claws his way to the 29-yard line. Takes Buster Elahy and Mark Williams with him.
Well, you think that Keyshawn Johnson and Otten have hooked up a little bit in practice from time to time? They seem to like each other. And Otten did a great job that time of throwing that ball off his back foot. This is a very instinctive football play. Watch him. He's going to get some pressure. He just rears back, throws it off his back foot. Johnson is right there. Makes a nice grab for a USC first down.
At the 29-yard line, it's 1st and 10, Southern California. 2:45 to play in the first half. Over the middle it goes again, this time intended for John McWilliams, his H-back, and he can't get him. Overthrows him at the 10-yard line. Now you look at last week. Southern California rushing 31 yards. Today, thus far, 120, and we've still got a couple of minutes to play on the first half.
Yeah, well, that's John Robinson saying we're going to be a tough team. You know, we're going to come out and run the football. That they got away from that last week. But there's also something else going on here, and that is he knows that Oregon State is a very physical team. He wants his team to be physical, too. And he's trying to get them to get in that frame of mind right now, today.
Race wide to the right, Johnson wide left. Counter. Sermons, and it didn't fool Packy Ina or Tom Holmes. Tom Holmes, a defensive tackle. Ina forced it that way. Holmes, tremendous speed for a defensive tackle, 4.6 speed.
Yeah, watch how Holmes, 53, just cuts around his block. He's able to get by the lineman before he has a chance to put a hat on him, and he knifes in and makes a shoestring tackle. That is tremendous quickness by a down lineman.
And we have got a Trojan down on the field. And it is Jeremy Hogue, the center. And while the Southern California medical staff works on Hogue, we will step away. Back in a moment. California.
It's not a very pretty sight. You see 66 up there in the middle of the screen now. You'll see Sermons fall behind him. Oh, that is not a pretty sight at all.
Now there you see the left leg being bent underneath Sermons. And oh my gosh. Hadaball is being taken off on a wheeling, kind of a chair-like stretcher. And Southern California, certainly an area where they are already thin. That offensive line, Phelan Pounds out a week ago with a leg. Kyle Ramsey couldn't answer the call today. That necessitated Chris Polak coming over from left guard to the right guard position, moving Hadaball in to start at left guard, and now Ramsey, with the injury, number 68, is on the football field. Well, now with Ramsey in and Hadaball out, that only leaves two backups that John Robinson's Trojans brought with him, John Michaels and Andre Abrams. Yeah. There's Hadaball. Well, our best wishes to Clay Hadaball. Washington State leading Oregon 21-7 in Martin Stadium in Pullman, where we will be a week from today. Washington upending San Jose State by a couple of touchdowns. And it was Boston College upsetting Notre Dame in Boston 30-11. Here we go with 2:24 to play in the first half. 3rd and 12 for Southern California. We're tied at 13. Lawton screens it to the near side. That's Sermons, and he's got running room. He'll go. Touchdown, Southern California.
Perfect call by USC. They caught Oregon State blitzing. And Oregon State also had to have a blown assignment there. There was absolutely no one who went with Sermons when Sermons came out of the backfield. You'll see Otten drop back. Sermons is to the right of your screen. You'll see him slip out, and no one picks him up. No one at all. It looks like it was probably 21, Buster Elahy, who was supposed to have him, but there is nobody there at all.
Full forwards point after. He's perfect, and with 2:12 to play, Southern California has scored the last 18 points in this game after trailing 13-2 early.
We talked about them settling down. USC has settled.
At the 3-yard line, here comes J.J. Young. Takes it into the wedge, dives out across the 24-yard line, and that is where Oregon State and company will put it in play. Now the scoring summary. Starling Latu, a fumble recovery in the end zone, made it Oregon 6-0. Micah Phillips on the extra point, blocked it and returned it for 2 points to make it 6-2. And then J.J. Young, a 34-yard run, made it 13-2. Still first quarter. Cole Ford hit from 23 yards away to make it 13-5. And then Tyler Cashman in the second period, a 1-yard pass from Brad Otten. And then Rodney Sermons, 31 yards from Otten on the screen. That's where we stand. Don Shanklin is back in at quarterback for Oregon State.
You know, and I think Don Shanklin has been out of the ball game too long for Oregon State. You know, Tim Alexander was in for that last drive, but even before that, USC had the ball for a long drive, and their last drive was a long drive. So Shanklin hasn't played in a long time in this ball game. I imagine he's a little bit cold and maybe a little bit rusty right now.
Wide to the left is Sylvester Green on 2nd down and 8. Shanklin tries to pitch it at the last minute, picked up on a bounce. Cameron Reynolds takes it out across the 41.
Well, Oregon State got a lucky bounce that time, as Shanklin coming out that time wasn't able to get the ball. He tried to pitch late. You'll see here at the end of the play, he comes on out, he gets the speed option out there. Jason Berry, 26, is the man who's going to come up with it, but you see he pitches it out in front. There are two new players in the ball game, so to speak. Shanklin coming back from the long layoff, and Berry that time in the lineup for J.J. Young. So they haven't worked together a lot, and certainly not today.
Jason Berry playing for an injured Shazar Hawkins, who's out with a bruised shoulder.
Shanklin's out of the ball game now. Muhammad is in.
Raheem Muhammad up and over he goes, looking for Green, and overthrows him at the 29. Raheem Muhammad, you look at his numbers this year, not played a lot.
I assume that he's in the ball game now because something is wrong with Shanklin. I can't imagine that you would take Shanklin out of the ball game now after having pulled him out.
Well, you wonder if it's the foot, and he is limping on it. Well, he talked about it to me yesterday. Said, hey, it's sore, it hurts, but hopefully when the adrenaline gets going, I won't feel it. 2nd down and 10 from the 43. And there's nothing doing. Matt Kennelly. Ball over J.J. Young at the 43-yard line.
It's a different Oregon State team when Shanklin isn't in, but watch 92. Kennelly, as he fights off Thompson, 69 there, and gets rid of him enough to get in there and make a nice tackle. You know, Thompson goes at 320 pounds. Kennelly did a nice job of pushing him off, getting in there to make the tackle.
To the top goes Sylvester Green. Joe Douglas is split wide right. Should make a 3rd down and a long 10. In motion, that's Berry. Muhammad looses the handle as he backs away, and he is covered by Trojans everywhere. It'll be 4th down now and 10 as Oregon State is just completely out of whack on this possession.
Yeah, the continuity that they had early on, they've lost. USC has turned the momentum, and Oregon State is also really having a lot of trouble with the skill positions now. You know, they had Jason Berry in there to run some. Cameron Reynolds has been out. Cedric Thomas, came in for J.D. Stewart at the fullback spot, and obviously the quarterback spot, they've made a lot of changes.
Now that's going to be the final play of the first half. A very lackluster ending to what in the first quarter was one wild football game. Halftime score, Southern California scores the last 8.
Don Shanklin went out apparently with a foot injury. Tim Alexander, the freshman from Florida, has been in for one series, did pretty well, but they pulled him out, and Raheem Muhammad came on after that. Now, it's a different team when Shanklin's out of that ball game. When Shanklin is in there, they can throw the ball and they can get to the outside. Without him, Oregon State's going to have a tough time.
Well, Oregon State was a different team right from the get-go. The University of Southern California had the ball 3 and out on their first possession. John Stonehouse in punt formation. A high snap. He came down with the ball, and in comes J.J. Young. He partially blocked it. Oregon State had the football on their first possession following that partial block.
Yeah, and what you found out right away was that Don Shanklin, he can not only run the ball, but he can throw it. He does a nice job of getting the ball out to Cameron Reynolds for a 64-yard catch and run that doesn't wind up in the end zone, but it gets very, very close. And on the very next play, Oregon State fumbles the snap, but the ball squirts into the end zone. And number 55, Starling Latu, lands on it for a touchdown for Oregon State to make the score 6-0.
And then just watch the point after. It is partially blocked. Trojans everywhere. Micah Phillips picked it up, and just watch him go. He's going to go 97 yards the other way. Uses his blockers nicely, cuts back into the open field. Nobody is going to touch him. Great downfield, open field blocking. That made it 6-2 Oregon State.
Yeah, Oregon State came right back, though, rebounded to make a very big play. J.J. Young, the star running back for Oregon State, takes the pitch and goes 34 yards for a touchdown. But it wasn't the speed, Phil. It was the power and the toughness that demonstrated Oregon State's ability in the first part of the first quarter.
Cole Ford then hit a 23-yard field goal to make it 13-5 Oregon State. And then here came the Trojans.
Yeah, Sean Walters on a beautiful fake. Brad Otten finds his man Cashman in the end zone to make it 13-11.
Walters, after a 2-point conversion to tie it at 13. Second quarter, Rodney Sermon's a 31-yard touchdown from Otten, and that closed out the scoring in the first half. Right now, let's go to Paul Sunderland, who is standing by on the sideline. Paul?
Well, Coach, a lot of us are talking about who's going to start at quarterback and who will we see. Let's ask you.
We'll start out with Tim Alexander. Don hurt his foot right at the end of the second half there. He's going to test it out here a little bit on the sideline to see if he can play. We'll go with Alexander. We'll see what happens to Shanklin. Then we've got Muhammad if something happens to those two.
SC really started to take control, particularly when they were on offense at the line of scrimmage. Do you take even more chances defensively?
Well, I think we made some good adjustments at halftime here that hopefully will give us an opportunity to negate some of the strength in the offensive line that USC that really did a good job on that first half.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us, and good luck in the second half. Tim Alexander, the highly touted freshman, gets his first big test against the Trojans. Back to you.
Now, Paul, the questions have all been answered. Now, let's look at the first half statistics. Rushing yards, Southern California with 107. The Beavers with 122. Certainly no surprise there. Passing yardage certainly in favor of Southern California. That also no surprise whatsoever. Perhaps total plays really dictates the halftime score.
Yeah, I think that's right. 38 plays for USC. They've controlled the ball. They've kept Oregon State off the field, and that's helped their defense because they haven't had to deal with this option as much as they ordinarily would. So John Robinson has to be pleased with the way the offense has performed by running the football.
Now there's Brad Otten. He played well in the first half. He started in place of Rob Johnson. If you have just joined us, Otten in the first 30 minutes, 8 of 11, 112 yards and a pair of touchdowns.
A very solid first half. He threw the ball with a lot of authority, a lot of confidence, but you might expect that from him because he was a starting quarterback, and Weber State threw for over 2,300 yards last season, so he's no stranger to being in the lineup.
And there is Tim Alexander out of Riverview High School in Sarasota, Florida, the 6'1" true freshman. And he is going to get the call. It is going to be on Alexander's shoulders to beat Southern California in the second half if Shanklin cannot go. Now, Don Shanklin told me yesterday, he said, you know, my goal is just to get through a season, a few games without being injured.
Yeah, last season he only played the one start against Arizona State. And then this year against Arizona State, he suffered another shoulder injury, which limited his playing time so far this season.
There will be no return as Young takes it out of the end zone. Touchback. And here comes Oregon State at the 20-yard line. Al Shanklin is coming back out.
We were visiting with him yesterday. He's a tough kid. You could just tell by looking at him and talking to him that he was ready to play and would not be out of the ballgame if he could help it. You see the first half possessions, 2 touchdowns, first 2 drives by Oregon State, and then nothing after that.
Spread formation now by Oregon State. Shanklin. He's got a lot of running room. Cuts up the football, and it'll go out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
On the carry, Don Shanklin.
Eric Perrin is the guy who put the pop on Shanklin.
Well, Shanklin did a very good job of reading the play of the front line of USC and pulls the ball out of the fullback right now and then gets to the corner. He's attacking the corner and will cut it upfield. Does a good job, but his foot is still hurting him. And that takes away from your concentration just a little bit, Phil. He probably is not going to be able to hang on to the ball and make the same sort of decisions as he would if he were healthy.
Now the spot is at the 29-yard line. As the officials say, the knee was down before the ball popped loose. So second down now into just across the 28. Now back in the wishbone come the Beavers. Again, a miss exchange. Shanklin will fall on it. Boy, 2 plays here, and twice they put it on the carpet. This has been the undoing of Jerry Pettibone's Beavers here in '94.
Yeah, they've had trouble with that this season. They had trouble with it last season. But you really have to feel for Don Shanklin right now. He's trying to play through some pain. And anytime you're playing with pain, you just aren't as sharp. And that time you see that he just kind of hesitated a moment. Which way was the play supposed to go? He didn't have a real good handle on the ball. And those things happen when you're hurt. You can't play hurt.
3rd and 8 from the 22. Shanklin, the pitch goes to Reynolds. There are Trojans everywhere, and Reynolds is being bounced out of bounds. Quincy Harrison, the corner on that side, a sophomore from Las Vegas, took him out way short of a first down. And here comes Doug Stuckey to punt it away.
Real good defensive set by USC that time. Not a strong offensive showing by Oregon State. And I'm not sure that we're going to see a lot of Don Shanklin as this quarter wears on, Phil. He just didn't look quite the same on that drive.
There's Ken Grace. He is standing at his own 39-yard line as Stuckey awaits the snap from center. Brad Parkruff, good snap. And a short punt. Grace has got it at the 44. And he's not going to go anywhere. A 31-yard return, 31-yard punt. There will be no return. In November, the world's greatest golfers tee off on Prime. Winners of Grand Slam and championship tournaments from the past 2 years compete for the ultimate title in the Gene Sarazen World Open Championship. Live from Chateau Elan, Georgia, outside Atlanta, November 4th through the 6th on most Prime affiliates. And word is a couple of late entries in that tournament, Rod Gilmore and Paul Sunderland. Playing in that one, Bert?
Oh, yeah. I go wherever you send me, Phil.
First down at the 44. Here come the Trojans. Straight ahead it goes. That's Rodney Sermons. He's hit by Rico Petrini. Now, when this game got underway, the Trojans did nothing with the football. Punted it away a couple of times, and on their final 3 possessions of the first half, got a field goal from Cole Ford and a couple of touchdown pitches from Brad Otten.
And they looked very confident on those last 3 possessions. They took their time. They ran the football. They picked their spots to throw the football. It was much more like a USC team you would expect to see.
Second down and 8. Play action. Oh, looking deep, throwing to the sideline. And oh, he has something on that one. Intended for Keyshawn Johnson. Terrific coverage by William Ephraim.
Ephraim did a great job. Textbook coverage out there by Ephraim. He did a nice job of keeping his offside hand, the left hand, on Keyshawn Jones and reaching around with the right hand. Watch the coverage here. You'll see he doesn't buy the sell on the post route, comes back, keeps the left hand off and knocks it away with the right hand. That is textbook corner coverage.
And it is his 30th career deflection. He is #1 in Beavers football history. We welcome all of you who are watching along our HSE network. We are at Parker Stadium in Corvallis, Oregon. Bill Stone along with Rodney Gilmore and Paul Sunderland. 13:07 to play in the 3rd quarter. Southern California 20, Oregon State 13. Trojans have taken a timeout. We're going to step away for a moment. At USC University Hospital from a terrific automobile accident a couple of weeks ago. All of us at Prime. George, we wish you a complete and speedy recovery. It's just not the same at Heritage Hall without that big smiling face wandering through the hallway. Best of luck, George. 3rd down and 7 from the 47. Brad Otten over the middle. It goes. Oh, he throws a strike. Keyshawn Johnson, and he is going to go
Keyshawn Johnson with a big play against Oregon State's man-to-man coverage in the blitzing, and a great throw by Brad Otten on the square-in route. You'll see Keyshawn Johnson run this route over the middle. He'll have man-to-man coverage, and he's looking for the ball right away. You see the gamble by Ephraim. He goes in front, and Keyshawn responds with a catch and run of 50 yards down to the 4-yard line. You'll see Ephraim right there gamble. And when a defensive back gambles in man coverage, you don't have anyone else to come up and help with the tackle.
First and goal, Southern California. Sermons, and there's not a lot. Rodney Sermons is the true freshman. 1993 Super Prep All-American first team, Blue Chip All-American first team, Super Prep All-Far West. And the accolades just keep coming. He was a great one in high school.
Well, USC has a few great ones that they're thinking about playing. Leonard Green hasn't had a chance to play yet. DeLon Washington has been out. All of these young runners were outstanding in high school and or junior college.
Second and goal on the 3-yard line. Sermons again, and this time he trips over Chris Polak and Norberto Garrido. Boy, Oregon State doing a nice job. David Kepke, Eric Hale, Rico Petrini just clogging the running lanes.
Well, Oregon State did a nice job that time of moving their defensive linemen. They were slanting them somewhat towards the plane. The play that time, they rolled the dice a little bit, guessed, went to the left side, and USC happened to be going that way.
Southern California thus far in the ballgame has certainly shared the wealth in terms of rushing. Sermons, 15 carries. Sean Walters, 14 trips through the line. Third down. Sermons, did he get there? Touchdown! Now one official says so, the other one says no.
I think they're going to mark him just a wee bit short of the end zone.
And we have seen 2 of these in the ball game thus far. And no, they're not going to count it. They're about a foot short. Oh, my.
We get a chance here to take a look at it. He gets hit first at about the 2-yard line, and he keeps going forward, but he's down there. He's actually down there, and then he rolls over and puts the ball over the goal line. So he did wind up a little short, and SC will go for it here on 4th down.
Sermons. He's got it up and over. Touchdown in behind Tony Baselli. You saw John Robinson hold up one finger saying, we're going for one here.
Well, if you had your choice, who would you run behind down there on the goal line? How about an All-American candidate? How about a guy who knows how to play real tough, hard football, 71? Mr. Tony Baselli, great job of opening up a hole there for Sermons down there on the goal line.
Cole Ford is on to attach the point after. From the hold of Brian Linderman. Ford whistles it through. The clock stops, 10:29 to play. Sermons runs it in behind Tony Baselli, a guy who bench presses the Hollywood sign for kicks. Oregon State leading it now 27-13. Almost seems like a different ball game ago when Don Shanklin or Oregon State led 13-2.
Well, that was some time ago. Shanklin is going to be out for the rest of the ball game. He re-injured that foot, and it looked like on that last series that he just didn't quite have it, and he's not going to return in the ball game.
Cole Ford is set to kick it away. Terrence Blackwell and J.J. Young standing inside their own 5-yard line, and it's going to Young. It's going into the end zone. There'll be no return. Well, Cole Ford has kicked well. Let's go down on the sideline and Paul Sunderland. Paul.
Well, Brad Otten, backup quarterback to Rob Johnson at USC, has had a very solid football game after a bit of a rough start. Played a lot last week in a losing effort to Oregon that got his feet on the ground, but he almost didn't come to USC. Played in Utah, went on his Mormon mission, so now he's 22 years of age. Wanted to go to Washington State, but they looked like they were set at the quarterbacking position. Wrote some letters, had some feelers out, ended up at USC. And now, with the ineligibility of Kyle Wachholtz, who was supposed to be the star backup to Rob Johnson because of academics, all of a sudden Brad Otten is looking very, very good and very, very valuable to John Robinson. Back to you.
2 brand new quarterbacks in the ball game. Brad Otten for SC, and here's Tim Alexander for the Beavers, and he is hit, unable to unload the football, and the guy that got to him was Jeff Kopp, and he is certainly the rallying point of that Trojan defense.
Kopp is having a fine ball game, as are a number of players on the USC defense, and Kopp is really kind of looking into the backfield now, thinking he's got the freshman there to deal with, but he's also very conscious of J.J. Young. J.J. Young has been quiet in this ball game. He's only carried the ball 3 times, and you have to figure that Oregon State will want to get the ball back in J.J. Young's hands.
This Oregon State offensive line has simply not been able to solve the scheme, the adjusted scheme of USC's defensive front. Alexander pulls left side to turn the corner. He's around it. He's across the 30. Cuts it inside and is hit at the 41-yard line. Oh, the speed, the smoothness of the true freshman out of Sarasota, Tim Alexander.
Well, he's growing up in a hurry. He's understanding what he needs to do. This time, they go again with the real quick speed option outside. He's got blockers in front, and he does a good job of turning it up the field. Although he's carrying the ball in the wrong hand, he thinks about switching it later. Picks up good yardage there, but never, ever once considered pitching that ball to his trail man.
Sylvester Green splits wide to the right. Alexander's numbers thus far, 5 carries, 36 yards. Look at that per carry average, over 7 yards. And look at him go again. This time he's to the 50-yard line and stopped. Another gain, this time of 8. Oh, he's got quick feet.
Well, as he becomes a threat to USC on the corner, that again opens up the inside running lanes. That allows him to do things right at the point of attack at the fullback. You see the blocking 62 border doing a very fine job of crushing down the inside position to allow Alexander to get up inside and pick up first down. Almost a first down, just short of it.
2nd down and 1. Straight ahead it goes. That's J.D. Stewart. He has the first down. He's into Trojan territory at the 48-yard line with 8:49 to play here in the 3rd period. Now Jerry Pettibone is going to get 4 years to look at this young man out of Riverview High School in Sarasota, Timothy Roland Alexander. You know who his favorite athlete was when he was coming through high school, Rod? You know, most players say a guy like Dick Butkus, Paul McDonald. His favorite player? Me? Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good guy.
That's going way back.
Yeah.
You look at the wishbone today, 28 trips. It's averaging over 5.5 yards, and it's got a touchdown.
Yeah, they just haven't had the ball long enough today. USC has been dominating the clock.
Alexander wants to put it up, throws, got a receiver. It's caught at the 31-yard line.
That's Cameron Reynolds out of the backfield. They call it the wheel route. That's because Reynolds gets to wheel out of the backfield. You'll see him in the bottom of the screen, number 30. He just comes out right away. You see the blocking protection of the 2 other backs, and Alexander finds Reynolds right away running the out pattern. First down on the 30. Here you see him kind of sidearm that ball out there. Nice grab by Reynolds. Good tackle by number 9, Semi Knight.
First down at the 31-yard line. This time first man through. And that again is J.D. Stewart as the fullbacks continue to hammer the ball inside the tackle triangle for Oregon State. For these fullbacks, whether it's Stewart, Cedric Thomas, Raul Morgan, they love to follow guys like Starling Latu, Brad Thompson, Johnny Finga.
Well, sometimes they're leading into that line as well because they are really the focal point of the option. If you can handle the fullback, you got a chance of stopping it. And you see Oregon State trying to reestablish the fullback in this drive.
Here it comes again. Look at the hole. Alexander turns the corner at the 20. 27-yard line. First and goal, Oregon State. Explosive speed.
Yeah, the youngster from Florida is starting to get real comfortable in this option. This is the same offense that he ran in high school, so he really hasn't had to learn a lot of new stuff here. It's just execute the same reads he had in high school. You'll see he makes a great decision right now. He says, let me go on up the field with it because Cameron Reynolds, number 30, is taken away. And then he shows you pure speed by cutting up the field. You see SC coming with the pursuit. Look at number 2, Errol Small, coming around to make the play.
Southern California has called a timeout, and you see the headphones going over the head of Tim Alexander. What a golden opportunity coming on here in the 3rd quarter to replace uninjured Don Shanklin.
Well, what do you bet that Mike Summers up in the booth for Oregon State, the offensive coordinator, simply said, hey, just like high school, huh?
Incidentally, word out of the Trojan side, John Herpin the right corner, has a back injury. He will not return. And Clay Hadaball, we saw him go down in the second period. He has a knee sprain. He's not coming back. Well, next weekend, our Pac-10 game of the week, we're heading for Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington, where the Washington State Cougars will take on undefeated Arizona. The Wildcats are going to play later tonight at home against Colorado State. That's next Saturday, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. The Wildcats and the Cougars are going to lock it up at Martin Stadium in Pullman, and we'll be there to bring it to you.
Yeah, they'd play that one even if nobody else came. As you see Pac-10 scores, Washington State got that win, 21-7 over Oregon, and California seems to be on a roll, 26-7 over UCLA. How about the Huskies at San Jose State?
Now San Jose State and Washington tied at 14 early in that game, and then the Huskies put them away. Tonight, as I said, the Rams and the Wildcats set to go in Tucson. Stanford and the Sun Devils will come out of Tempe later tonight. First and goal, Beavers. 7:23 to play in the third quarter. J.D. Stewart and Alexander on the exchange. You're supposed to let the exchange take place before you hit the guys. Isn't that the way it's supposed to be played? Trojans said,
You don't want to, you won't do it. You know, I'll tell you, the USC guys did a real good job of anticipating that they needed to cut off the fullback. And you watch the way all these guys over here will just come on down to this area. They're trying to make sure that they take away the fullback option and they slant down. You see them all coming down there to take away that option play right there.
Second and goal. Moves it inside the 5 and dives to the 3. He is hit and dropped from behind by Scott Fields. Scott Fields was the backup strong safety until this week. They moved Scott up and in behind Eric Herron at middle linebacker. The thought being, you've got to get your speediest guys on the field closer to the line of scrimmage against the wishbone.
Yeah, got to have a guy like Scott Fields who can run to the sideline and make plays on the pitch man.
Third and goal now. The ball is at the 3-yard line. Big drive for the Beavers of Oregon State. They want a touchdown out of this.
Well, I suspect there are going to be 2 plays. If they don't get it on this play, they'll go on 4th down.
Alexander, he's got running room. Touchdown, Beavers! Jim Alexander, his first collegiate touchdown. And what a spot to get it.
Oregon State needed it. Alexander got it, and that just may be the spark that Oregon State needs to get a little bit more confidence against the USC Trojans, who have been dominating ever since the first quarter. You'll see he's going to follow his fullback, J.D. Stewart. Stewart does a great job of cutting off number 35, Kopp, and Alexander follows him in there for the touchdown. A great block by number 28, J.D. Stewart.
Randy Lund is on to attempt the point after. Chris Cross, who did not play against Arizona because of injury, is the holder. He puts it down, and Lund misses it wide to the right. So Oregon State's point after problems continue. They missed one in the first period. They missed another one here in the third stanza. Back in a moment. 6:01 to play in the third quarter. Let's go down to Paul Sunderland.
Well, it seems that all the hype about Tim Alexander was not hype. Absolutely the truth. And, you know, Jerry Pettibone and his staff have been working for about 3 years to get this kid up to Corvallis, and it turns out that there was a long-time connection. You see, Tony Everett, who started at quarterback for Jerry Pettibone at Northern Illinois, also from the same high school. They used that connection. Apparently, Tim Alexander's mom and Leverett's mom are best friends, and they said, hey, my son had a great experience with Jerry Pettibone. You ought to consider Oregon State. Here he is, and thank goodness for it. Back to you.
That is the first-team Prep All-America picked by 4 different publications. Brooke Knight moves it away, and it's taken at the 11-yard line by Ken Grace. He's coming to the near side, and there are Beavers everywhere. Whoa, as they stand him up and knock him out of bounds. This is a fired-up Oregon State special teams unit right there. Mark Williams led the Beavers charge into the Trojans. Wow. Now you look at the scoring drive for Oregon State. They went 80 yards in 10 plays, and what an engineering drive it was on the part of the true freshman.
And the freshman accounted for almost all of those yards on that drive with his running and completed a couple of passes.
Southern California, 120 yards on the ground. Last in the Pac-10 coming in. Oregon State, number 1 in the conference thus far with 190 yards on the ground. First down, Trojans. There comes Rodney Sermons, and he's another true freshman. Rod, why are we seeing so many true freshmen playing Pac-10 football here in '94?
Oh, probably because they're kind of good.
I think that's a good answer.
You get young talent that's pretty good. You want to get them out there right away.
What about the reduction of scholarships from 95 to 85?
Well, you know, that has something to do with it. Players want to play right away, and you know, there's also the sense that guys can leave for the NFL a lot sooner. So why waste the time if you're not going to have a guy for 4 years?
Second down and 7. Long snap count by Alton, looking left side. Thumbs left side, almost intercepted, and a flag's going down. Kane Rogers almost took it away. Intended for Tyler Cashman, the junior tight end out of Los Alamitos, California.
Yeah, Otten got away with one that time. He was backpedaling as he threw that ball out into the flat. Kane Rogers.
Good ball. There was no play. Lyman moved illegally. False start. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
So it's still second down. Instead of second down and 7, let's back it up, make it second and 12.
You know, Oregon State is still blitzing, but what they've done, Phil, is they've backed off of the combination blitzes again. They're only sending one guy. The last couple plays, they sent their inside linebacker, 49, Rico Petrini, on blitzes up the middle.
Second down and 12 from the 19. Alton rolling left. Complete. That's Cashman. And he's got a first down out across the 32-yard line, and what a nifty bit of footwork by Brad Alton. You know, Brad Alton selected Southern California. He said, Rod, that so many schools had come after him, and he kind of felt that they wanted him to be their savior. He wanted to come in and learn. He said, I know Rob Johnson's here. I want to learn from Rob Johnson. He said, heck, I didn't even know anything about SC. I knew they had a quarterback that couldn't eat Big Macs one time.
Who might that have been? Robo QB, huh? Todd Marinovich. Tyler Cashman did a nice job on that play. He's getting more starting times. You see Rob Johnson on the sideline with that sprained ankle. He hasn't played one down today.
First down, Southern California looking for Grace. This time underthrows the coverage, hits the H-back Johnny McWilliams, the tight end. McWilliams, a junior from Ontario, California, played at Pomona High School, and he is dropped by Michael Hale.
McWilliams was a great high school basketball player, actually considered going to Syracuse, but elected to come to USC and play football instead, thinking that he might be too small at 6'5" to make it in the NBA.
Well, he also thought about what the weather's going to be like in Syracuse in a month and what it's going to be like in Los Angeles. Second down and 5 at the 37-yard line from the I formation. Here come the Trojans. Straight ahead it goes. That's Rodney Sermons. And Sermons is to the 38 and nothing more. Tony Hewitt on the stop. Southern California, what a tailback duo today. Look at Walters, 14 carries, 62 yards. Sermons, the true freshman, 19 trips through the line for 62 yards and a touchdown.
Well, that has to make their coach, their running back coach, Charlie White, very happy. And Charlie White was one of the all-time great tailbacks at USC, and he felt was the toughest guy I ever played against.
Third down and 4. Play action, Alton. Over the middle it goes, and it's incomplete. Intended for Sermons out of the backfield as he was circling out in first down territory. And you can thank the coverage. The Trojans are going to punt it away.
Absolutely right, Phil. Great coverage in the secondary by Oregon State. You saw Otten move away. He had a little time to get rid of the ball. Pressured just a little bit, but great coverage by Oregon State.
John Stonehouse is going to punt it away. Beavers showing a big rush. Watch the black jerseys. They're all coming. And they're not going to get to it. No, it's going to be rushing the punter. Big punt. Williams calls for the fair catch. He coughs it up. It's picked up by the Beavers, but this is going to be roughing the punter. Roughing the kicker back at the 17-yard line as Stonehouse is going to trot off.
Well, I think it's J.J. Young again who ran into him. Young ran into Stonehouse in the first quarter.
Personal foul. Rushing the kicker. 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
You see that Young goes too far. He's going at where Stonehouse is kicking, not where his foot is going to be when the ball makes contact with the foot. The angle that he takes is not the right one. The ball goes underneath him.
Roughing the punter is the call. It'll be an automatic first down on the walk-off 15 yards. Boy, what a twist of fortunes now for Oregon State. They would have had the football at about the 30-yard line. Instead, give it back to the Trojans now at the Beavers 47 and a new fresh set of downs.
Well, obviously, Oregon State believed that J.J. Young, with his speed, could get there and block punts. They've gone after it twice today, but it's unusual to see your star running back on the punt block team.
And he partially blocked one. Stonehouse's first punt of the day. Here comes the blitz by the Beavers. Picked up nicely. Orton double pumps going down the field. Looking for Johnson. Overthrows him at the 10. 3:15 to play in the third period. That stops the clock. Southern California 27. Oregon State 19.
That was a tremendous job by USC's offensive line, picking up the blitz that time and giving Otten the confidence to know that he could stand in there and throw the ball down the field. You'll see the blitz come up the middle. 17 Kane Rogers coming, and you'll see the blocking protection. Otten has time to plant, step forward, and throw the ball as Amani Johnson, 97, makes contact with him just after he released it.
Second down and 10. Cashman in motion to the bottom now sets up. Gives straight ahead. There comes Sean Walters. I'm looking to put his helmet down and bang to the 40-yard line.
USC is doing a fine job of blocking on the outside, turning the plays outside so that there's holes for the running backs. You'll see outside on this area over here, they're going to move all the guys out that way and open up the crevice that way. It's going to be a little bit far to the right side of the screen. As you see the cross blocking, Varnum will come in and pick off one guy, and the outside blocking there by the tight end and the tackle opening up the hole for USC.
And the gain was 7 yards. It's 3rd and 3. Back to the line of scrimmage where it's going to be 4th down now at about 3. And Stonehouse is going to come back on. And you can bet he's going for the corner.
Yeah, great stop by the Oregon State defense that time after getting the roughing the kicker penalty.
William Ephraim is back deep as Stonehouse lets it go. Going right down the center of the field. Why? Oops. Oops. A minute 51 to play in the third period. Here come the Beavers. They'll take the ball at the 20-yard line. Stonehouse comes to the near side, shaking his head.
Well, the crowd will come to life again now because Tim Alexander, the freshman from Florida, is heading back on the field after having led Oregon State to an 80-yard touchdown drive, which brought his team back within 8 points.
Now you talk about Tim Alexander, and Paul Sunderland chronicled his accomplishments. The Sporting News rated him as one of the top 5 high school athletes in the nation.
He was on everyone's top 40 list.
Oh, man.
Every school.
Here's Stewart, straight ahead it goes. Al Alexander simply wanted to continue his career of playing option quarterback, but after college, Rod, what does an option quarterback do? Not much called in the National Football League for an option QB.
Not as a QB. The QBs are too precious in the NFL to have them running the option, but he may wind up being a running back, defensive back, something like that.
Wide to the left is Sylvester Green. Out of the wishbone, here comes the freshman Tim Alexander. Second down and 6. Wants to turn the corner, does so, and dives out across the 30-yard line, close to a first down.
I like the way he bounced up off the ground after that tackle. You know, he really went in there and took them on with his shoulder pads, as the option quarterbacks have to do. Watch the hole open up here. He's going to cut it up the field. He's going to take a nice shot. Number 16, Quincy Harrison. He just bounces right up and heads on back to the huddle. I think he's starting to have some fun out there.
Any way of equating, Rod, how much harder the hitting is in Division I football over high school?
It ain't the same, Phil.
3rd and less than 1. They're going to run it wide, and Alexander's going down. He's going to lose a yard.
Yeah, he made a mistake there. He made a freshman mistake. He made a huge mistake. Oregon State could have and should have picked up that first down, either by giving the ball to the fullback to pick up the short yardage, or by going ahead and pitching it to J.J. Young. But Alexander stepped out there and didn't make a decision, and it cost them.
Now Jerry Pettibone wants a timeout. As you see, he's trying to get the word into Tim Alexander and does so. The punting team is in, but I'm not so certain the Beavers really want to punt the ball away with 7 seconds to play in the third period.
Now watch right there, the fullback. If Young gets that ball, he picks up the first down. Now watch how the hesitancy with Alexander. He just stops 2-3 yards behind the first down, trying to figure out what to do. And you can't do that on a short yardage situation.
Well, so if you're on Jerry Pettibone's staff, Rod, and you're his offensive coordinator right now, what are you telling him?
Well, if I'm Jerry Pettibone, the first thing I'm thinking about is, geez, you know, maybe I called that timeout a little bit too soon because the quarter was just about to expire. He called the timeout with 7 seconds left. He couldn't let the quarter expire and then take some time to think about what he wanted to do without losing the timeout.
Well, good point. With just 7 seconds to play in the period. Now scores around college football today. Florida, #1 ranked all over the Tigers of LSU, 42-18. Nebraska taking out the Cowboys of Oklahoma State, 32-3.
Colorado looking very good, 38-23 over Missouri. And Michigan getting a big win over Michigan State, 40-20. I'd like to send out our best wishes to Tommy Frazier, the Nebraska quarterback, who's going to miss the remainder of the season due to that blood clot that was discovered in his leg. Such a great quarterback and great competitor. It's too bad that he won't be able to finish his season.
Now the punt team has come back off the field. The Beavers of Oregon State are going to go for it here on 4th down and 1. Alexander straight ahead. He's got a first down. Oh, my. That could have been a call that would have hung with Jerry Pettibone an entire season if that would not have been a first down.
Yeah, you know that. That's not the sort of call that I would make. I wouldn't do that. I would kick the ball and take my chances. But I think he grabbed the freshman and he said, trust me, believe me, the first down is there. Don't stutter. Don't pitch the ball.
And that is the end of the third quarter. It ends with a gutsy call, a successful call on the part of Jerry Pettibone and the Beavers of Oregon State. Back in a moment. Period notes are brought to you by Great Western. A couple of career firsts in the third period. Rodney Sermons of Southern California and Tim Alexander of Oregon State picked up their first collegiate touchdowns. Southern California had put 25 points on the board before Alexander's touchdown. And you look at the rushing yardage, Oregon State tops in the Pac-10, has gone over the 200-yard mark. As we begin the fourth period, first down, Oregon State option near side. Alexander pitches, and Cameron Reynolds is taken out of bounds. He's going to lose 3. Boy, there was just a great job on the part of this USC defense of stringing out that option.
Go back to that last play, Phil, when Jerry Pettibone decided to go for it on 4th down at the end of the third quarter. That was a very risky call. But, you know, Jerry Pettibone is like that. Last week against Arizona, late in the ball game, 23-10, he went for a fake punt when Arizona was expecting it, and that resulted in a touchdown that made it 30-10, which was a bigger loss. But Jerry said afterwards, I made a mistake. I never should have done that.
Well, it's called living life on the edge.
Well, he likes to do that.
14:55 to play in the ball game. 27-19, Southern California. Second down and 13, Oregon State. Alexander. Helmet to helmet. Wow, at the 37-yard line as he runs for 6. And the guy he took down was Matt Kennelly, 6'5", 285.
Yeah, he's going to learn real quickly, or his mom is going to call him tonight and say, son, I was watching the game, and I don't want you doing things like that. You're not that big. You shouldn't be taking on big old guys with the numbers of 90 and 70 and whatnot, because they can hurt you. Watch what he does here. He's going to pull the ball down and decide, uh-oh, I'm going to go. And now he runs into big old number 92, Kennelly, and takes him on. Big shot. And number 5, Brian Williams, is in there to make the tackle, too.
3rd and 4. Ahead it goes to J.D. Stewart. He's got a first down. Needed to get to the 41. He's across out near the 42.
Well, that's just simply effort and desire. Number 28, J.D. Stewart, had guys hanging on him, but he was determined to pick up the first down. Watch the effort he gives here. He doesn't have it. He just dives and keeps going. Even though he could not run for any more yards, he dived to get there for the first down. Tremendous effort.
Wide receiver Joe Douglas is checking out of the ball game. Coming in, Sylvester Green. He'll come wide to the left at the bottom of your screen. Picked up in coverage there by Gerald Henry. First down, Beavers at their own 42. J.J. Young knocked off his feet by Brian Williams. He's the senior outside linebacker from Bishop Dunn High School in Dallas, Texas.
Well, Oregon State was trying to trap USC that time, trying to catch him in the blitz. You'll see some blocking here, some down blocking, and then they're going to pull guys around to lead J.J. Young through the hole there. They don't catch him quite. You see this trap there, the little stunt that they run. J.J. Young gets the ball, picks up yardage. They don't quite catch him, but if they catch him blitzing, that could be a big play for them.
Douglas wide to left, got single coverage by Henry. Alexander looks this way on 2nd down and 5. Loses the football, and it's picked up by Cameron Reynolds as the Beavers dodge a bullet there. That's the 4th mishandling of a snap by a Beaver quarterback this afternoon.
Well, fortunately for Oregon State, they haven't turned it over to USC. They would have lost a number of drives had USC been able to recover any of those 4 fumbles.
Yeah, the Oregon State Beavers.
See 6 fumbles on the day, including the missed snaps.
Down at about 11.
And they haven't cost him yet.
Yeah, well, that time it was Alexander and Thomas, number 10, having a communication exchange problem. Looks like Alexander was trying to pull it out, and Thomas was trying to hang on to it, and that will happen from time to time in the option.
Scott Fields came very close to picking up that bouncing football. 12:25 to play in the game. 3rd and 11. Alexander under pressure throws, and we may have pass interference. Oh, the officials didn't see a thing, they said. J.D. Stewart was on his back with Brian Kelly on top of him when the ball got there.
Well, the play was made up front. 69 Thompson, Brad Thompson for Oregon State, tries to get out and block for Alexander, but he isn't able to get there, and Brian Kelly, number 42, jumped all over J.D. Stewart and was able to make the play.
Doug Stuckey's going to come on and punt it away. His 4th punt of the afternoon.
Down at 11.
Ken Grace back at the 21-yard line. Good snap. And Stuckey, a high spiraling boot at the 23, fair catch. And that's where Brad Auten and the Trojans of Southern California will take the ball with 12:09 to play.
With this offensive set, SC's defense playing well. Now let's see what happens with Oregon State. Back to you.
Auten looking near side, up and over, intended for Johnson. He's got it and goes out of bounds at the 46-yard line. What a great job Brad Auten did of floating that ball over coverage.
Yeah, real good job. He put the ball out there so Johnson could run down and get it. You'll see Johnson stay in bounds here, but watch the nice touch. A lot of air underneath this ball. Let Johnson get there. Had that ball been thrown out in front, he would have made it.
Brad Auten out of Tumwater, Washington, said before he enrolled in Southern California, he didn't even know the Trojans and UCLA were rivals.
Where was he hiding?
Great question. Rodney's sermons up across the 47-yard line. That's a true story.
Well, I mean, how can you play college football and not know about USC and UCLA?
That's a good question.
Number 25.
Gain a yard, 2nd down and 9. The ball is nosing the 47-yard line. Clock running. We're under 12 minutes at 11:38, 11:37, 11:36 to play in the game. Southern California 27, the Beavers of Oregon State 19. At the top of your screen, it's Ken Grace. Johnson is wide right. Auten looking right. Once Johnson, and off his fingertips and out of bounds it goes. Boy, great coverage. Absolutely terrific by William Ephraim.
Well, great coverage, but, you know, great protection for Brad Auten. USC has done a fine job of picking up the blitzes that Oregon State has brought, which has made Auten a lot more comfortable, and he's certainly thrown the ball with a lot of confidence.
Coming into this game, the SC offensive line had allowed 24 sacks. Today, they have allowed nobody to get around their quarterback. 3rd and 9. Auten under pressure, and it's incomplete at the 48. Pass intended for the umpire and fell incomplete.
Well, you can credit Tom Holmes with that one. Holmes was all over that play. He snowed it out right away and chased down the running back, and had that been a well-thrown ball, Holmes might have picked it off.
Boy, Corey Hewitt was right around there, too. Corey Hewitt playing on the outside for the first time. Has been an inside linebacker his previous years here at Oregon State and is playing very well.
Yeah, he's a pretty good athlete. You know, he started out as a running back for Oregon State, and they had to move him on over to the linebacking position.
John Stonehouse, who has handled a couple of high snaps. This time it's on the money, and he gets it away. Wow, does he sail it. Into the end end zone it goes. A 53-yard punt. It'll stop the clock with 11 minutes and 7 seconds left in this one. And that'll bring the wishbone offense of Oregon State back onto the field. Boy, here was a surprise in Boston. Dan Henning in Boston College over Lou Holtz. And look at Auburn. They roll over Mississippi State.
Alabama 14-6 over Southern Mississippi. That'll put them in the top 10. North Carolina wins again 31-24 over Georgia Tech.
Look at this one. Texas at home over Oklahoma after losing a week ago. And Ohio State, that's got to be a misprint.
Oh, no, that's going to make you and John Cooper very good friends. Louisville 35-14 over NC State. Another upset. We saw Louisville a few weeks back, and Howard Schnellenberger got that team going.
The 20-yard line, first down. Straight ahead it goes. Incidentally, that Oklahoma-Texas game was at the Cotton Bowl, not at home. 10:54 to play in the ball game.
You know, Phil, this is a tremendous effort by the USC defense, considering that they really didn't have a lot of time to prepare for the option, and next week they'll face Stanford in a passing attack. And they have a young defense, so to absorb all this information and these changes in a short period of time is outstanding for USC.
Alexander, he's going to keep it. Bust his way out across the 26-yard line, where he is hit hard by Brian Williams and Micah Phillips.
Yeah, number 27, Micah Phillips, did a very good job of slow playing the quarterback. He would not commit on the pitchman or the quarterback, which made Alexander string the play out before making a decision and deciding at the last moment to cut it up. So a good job by Micah Phillips, number 27.
Well, you look at Tim Alexander, his high school coach, compared him very favorably to Tommy Frazier of Nebraska. In fact, Tim Alexander thought about going to Nebraska, Oklahoma before selecting Oregon State. JJ gets around Phillips. He's got a first down out across the 32-yard line. Needed to get just across the 30. Boy, the block he shed got him the first down as Brian Kelly chased him out.
Well, sooner or later, it always returns to J.J. Young here. He's the guy that they really want to get the ball to, and he picks up this first down here. You're going to see him, J.J. Young here. He's going to run this route here, and you're going to see the fullback up there, blocking there, and the quarterback's going to come out there and realize he's got to get the ball to J.J. Young. J.J. will take the pitch right away and then just show you his speed to get to the first down.
The ball spotted across the 33 on first down, 9:42 to play. Alexander now throws. It's caught by Cameron Reynolds out across the 43-yard line. And they're going to give him a generous spot at the 44, and it's another Oregon State first down.
I tell you, Tim Alexander is starting to feel very much at home in this offense. He's running, he's throwing the ball on the run. Watch him roll out here. This is a pass all the way, and he'll have a little time. He's looking for his second and third receiver now. Finds Cameron Reynolds at the first down marker.
When you're an option offense, what does completing a pass downfield do to that offense, Rod?
Oh, it really opens everything up for the defense. All of a sudden, you're thinking, geez, you know, we can't commit to the run because these guys may fake us out.
And Tim Alexander can flat out put it in the air. First down, Beavers. That's J.D. Stewart straight ahead. He's got a couple. Well, in the second half, this has been a very predictable Oregon State play selection. Belly series first play, sweep second play, go to the air third play.
You know, they have really gone back to establishing that fullback. You see that they have thrown the ball a lot more today than they have all season long.
Now they're too shy of what they have been doing per game, and we still got 9 minutes to go, so it's a good bet that we're going to see Alexander go over that per game average of 8 passes.
You're right, you're right.
Second down and 7. Again, it goes straight ahead. This time, Stewart takes it across the midfield stripe for the 49-yard line. Darrell Russell, a true freshman, knocks him down. Southern California, of their top 6 down linemen, list 2 true freshmen, Darrell Russell and George Perry. Perry, out of San Bernardino, California, is a true freshman that John Robinson thinks an awful lot of.
Well, they believe in getting their young players in, especially the freshman defensive linemen, that they play as a unit, all 3 of them at once.
3rd and 4. Ahead it goes once again. The fullback right up the middle, running in behind that guard triangle. He's going to be short of the first down.
I think Jerry Pettibone made the decision that he would go for it on 4th down by running this play. You'll see that it was right away decided that Raul Morgan would take the ball inside. And I think Pettibone had already decided on the 3rd down call that he would go for it on 4th down if he was a little bit short.
And they're going to bring the chains in. If Raul Morgan, the freshman out of Houston, Texas, is short, it'll be by about 9 inches.
You have your ruler out already.
Now there it is. Actually, it's about 12 inches.
A little bit more than 9 inches there.
Well, our stats man, Rick Murphy, is normally right on top of that. Rick will not be with us next week. It's a 4th down at about 13 inches.
Now, what do you do here, Phil?
You pick up 14. Now Pettibone. He gambled, rolled the dice, and succeeded earlier here in the second half. Can he do it again? Alexander. I think he got it. I believe he got it.
Well, he got it, but he got a heck of a shot, which drove him back, but he picked up the 1st down.
Now the officials are going to stop the clock, you can be sure, but the mark appears to be across the 46 down near the 45, and that'll be enough for a 1st down.
Yeah,
I'm going to look at it.
I'm not even certain that there was a need to measure. It seemed to me that he clearly broke the plane of the 1st down marker. See how far ahead he gets, and now he gets driven back.
He got it, 1st down.
Yeah, there was no need to measure that one. He clearly picks up about a yard there, and now 35, Jeff Kopp drives him back.
1st down, a fresh set of downs for the Beavers of Oregon State. They're down by 8 with 7:33 to play in the game.
He's broken the wishbone. That's the spread option there.
Pursuit from behind by Heron. Can't get to Alexander. Got a face mask. Still on his feet. Up a 15-yard line. And out of bounds he goes. Oh, what pursuit by Eric Heron. He was after Tim Alexander and got screened by his own player. And Alexander is down and hurt.
Yeah, he took a shot there, and he also had his face mask grabbed along the way and went down on the sideline very hard.
Holding his left shoulder.
Well, you'll see the speed option here. J.J. Young out in front blocking, and you'll see number 10 Heron chasing him down. Heron is going to get blocked out of the way, but look at 16 Harrison grab the face mask. Great presence there, but look at Errol Small coming in from far off at a high speed, driving the youngster into the ground there. Small is 240 pounds. And watch him deliver the blow at the end of this. This is 240 pounds coming at full speed.
Right on the shoulder.
Yeah, he goes down on that left shoulder.
Now there's a great bit of sportsmanship right there on the part of Errol Small, who delivered the hit as he goes over to Pat Alexander on the backside. Well, you really like to see that in Division I football.
Yeah.
But that you don't like to see. Look at Alexander's numbers thus far. His first start as a true freshman came here in the second half. Over 100 yards rushing. And he's hurt holding on to that left shoulder.
Yeah, Phil, one of the problems with playing youngsters is that they haven't had sufficient time to really physically mature for the college game, and so it takes some time for them to get in the weight room and the like and to be able to deal with the pounding they take as number 3, Raheem Muhammad, takes over now for Alexander.
J.D. Stewart. He pounds it to the 10-yard line. Shanklin out a few weeks ago with a shoulder. Aggravated a foot injury last week at Arizona. Re-aggravated it here in the second quarter, out for the game. And now here with 7 minutes to go in the ball game, Tim Alexander, the promising freshman, out with the shoulder. And now it's up to Raheem Muhammad. And what do you do if Raheem goes down?
Well, it's one of the problems with the option. You need a lot of quarterbacks because they take a lot of shots. And they take a lot of shots from guys who are a lot bigger than they are.
2nd and 7, the ball at the 11-yard line. J.D. Stewart this time down inside the 5, near the 4. He'll be close to a first down.
Well, when you see yards like that, J.D. Stewart should jump up and grab his center, 58, Johnny Fenga, and thank him, who I think Fenga is one of the best centers in the conference. He's been doing a great job today, and when they get a chance to isolate him, he really takes advantage of it. You'll see 58 right there after he snaps the ball. Watch how he gets out and just gets a little help from the right guard, Border 62 there, and they really drive USC off the line.
This is a drive that began at their own 20-yard line. They have gone 75 yards. It's 3rd down and 1 at the 5-yard line. This time, Mohammed coughs up the football, but they're going to say he's down or not. The officials, I believe, are going to call him down. Back at the 8-yard line, the leg was down. Now the Trojans can't believe it. They're going to give it to him. They're giving it to the Trojans. So Southern California. Pettibone can't believe it. He thought it was down. Now look at it and you make the call.
Well, it's going to happen a little bit late here. You see they don't go at the fullback, and now looks like the ball's coming out even before he goes down there. And then it bounces up. He may not have had control of it on the way down. You can't tell from that angle. Maybe from this angle. The ball is coming out before he gets to the ground. Clearly a fumble.
The 7th fumble by Oregon State today, the first one that has cost him. First down at the 7-yard line, Southern California. Ahead it goes. Rodney Sermons is out across the 17-yard line, hit by Reggie Tung.
Rodney Sermons.
Now that is really a microcosm of Oregon State's season thus far. So close,
getting so close, yet they haven't quite been able to make the play to get them over the top. But, you know, that is part of the process of a young team, you know, and building a program. You have to get in ball games and fight to win, and then learn how to make the plays at the right time to win a ball game. And Oregon State hasn't quite made that jump yet.
First down, in motion, Cashman. Straight ahead it goes. It's Sermon once more. Out across the 21, Rico Petrini on the tackle. Inside 5 minutes.
Yeah, what you need right now, Phil, if you're going to move ahead and get over that hump, you've had something bad happen, but you need a big play from your defense. It's not enough at this point in the ball game for your defense to give you a stop. You need a turnover. You need a big hit. You need something to get your team up again, because right now they're very, very down.
2nd down and 8 from the 20-yard line. Southern California 27, Oregon State 19. Beavers took a 13-2 lead with 8 minutes to play on the first period. Again, the H-back Cashman goes to the top of the screen. Hands to the tailback, and Rodney Sermon bangs once more out across the 25.
Well, I think to win football games in major college and in the NFL, you have to be able to run the football in the 4th quarter.
Rodney Sermon's rod, 23 carries, 82 yards and a touchdown. Walters, 15 carries for 70 yards. We're going to step away. Back with more from Corvallis, Oregon.
This label tells you it's 100% cotton.
Play the ball game. 3rd down and 3 for Southern California. It's the Trojans by 8. The biggest defensive play of the ball game thus far for the Beavers.
Yeah, and if you're USC, you need a first down here. And I have a lot of confidence in Otten right now. He's done a real good job. You need the first down. I'd go ahead and let him throw the ball.
Coming near side. It is caught. Terry Barnum, the fullback, has his first catch of the afternoon, and it's a big one. A first down at the 30-yard line. Mark Williams tackled him.
Terry Barnum did a great job making a nice catch out there and a nice throw by Otten. He did a very good job of seeing the blitz, being calm and cool, and he didn't rush, and he put the ball out there. Watch how calm and cool he is when he sees 45, Corey Hewitt coming in, number 21, Buster Elahi. He stays in there, drops the ball off to Barnum, number 21. Nice grab, and he picks up the first down.
Otten now 13 of 21 for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. First down, Southern California at the 30-yard line. Ahead it goes, Sean Walters. Rushing has not been easy for the Trojans. They have had 3 carries of exactly 11 yards. Other than that, it's been 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's been a workmanlike performance for USC today, and no one's been working any harder than number 21, Terry Barnum. Watch number 21. He's the lead back here. He's going to come up in here and make a nice block, and then Sean Walters is just going to follow him. Barnum just picked up the first down. Now watch the block he makes right here on 45. Bam, there it is. Opens up a little bit of a hole so that 31 Sean Walters can get in and pick up 4 yards. You know, Barnum spent his last 3 summers working for the LA Daily News down there in Southern California as a sports writer.
Took it down and 6. Sean Walters, he's not going anywhere. He moved it across the 35, out close to the 36. Now the Trojans, this is a game they came in here, felt they needed to win. Just had to find a way to win because a week from today, they head down to your old stomping grounds. They're going to Palo Alto to take on the Stanford Cardinal. While John Robinson thinks things over, we're going to step away. We're coming back with 2:40 left. On his Beavers need the football. Right now his defense is faced with a 3rd and 4 situation and a must-hold situation.
Well, you can bet that they are going to roll the dice and blitz a few folks and give SC single coverage because they need a big play.
Play action. Orton, he's going to go down in a heap. And a huge play by Kane Rogers. Yeah, he's the next quarterback. He was recruited here as a quarterback, and he knows what quarterbacks like to do in certain situations.
Well, he did not buy the fake bootleg there. He saw it coming. He was blitzing from the top. He'll be to the left of the screen. Number 17 doesn't buy the fake and comes on in, Kane Rogers, to make a big, big sack. Otten never had a chance.
Stonehouse to punt it away. Time Oregon State returned a punt for a touchdown 2 years ago against UCLA. Stonehouse lets it sail. Mark Williams in the camp under it at the 23-yard line. He's got it. Sidesteps one Trojan. Tries to keep it in bounds, does so. Moves it back to the 31-yard line. A 48-yard punt. Stonehouse gets a lot of air under it when the Trojans needed it most.
He's had a tremendous day punting the football. Got off a 50-yarder in the first quarter, one that J.J. Young actually partially blocked.
Now this is a situation you like to see. The underdog with the football behind by 8 points, a chance to possibly punch it in, go for the tie. It's been a long time since Oregon State has knocked off USC. You've got to go back to 1967.
And if they're going to do it today, they're going to have to go 68 yards in a minute 41 with their 3rd string quarterback in.
J.J. Young, the give goes straight ahead. And there's not a lot of running room. They're not going to get it done. They're not going to make a living with 135 doing that.
Now, they were trying to pop one. They were trying to get a quick one inside and see if they could pick up some yardage. But they clearly are going to have to go to putting the ball in the air.
J.D. Stewart lost a shoe. Now he's going to throw the shoe. Raheem Muhammad throws a towel away on 2nd down and 6 with 1:12 left. Again, Young in motion. Muhammad to the 39-yard line.
The clock is running. They have to hurry up and get on the ball. We're down to 58 seconds.
Now somebody just threw away a sock. Beavers, being undressed out there.
Can't worry about the uniform now.
Muhammad wants to go downfield, sets, now throws, and throws it out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 38 ticks left.
Well, that's going to bring up 4th and 1. 4th and 2, actually. They're going to have to go try to pick up the first down without regard to the clock. There's only 37 seconds, but the clock will stop if they pick up the first down, at least momentarily.
Now an injury to the Trojans. It's Israel Ifyani, a junior transfer out of Nigeria. Played his junior college ball at Orange County Community College. He is being attended to by the USC medical staff. Now 37 seconds to play. Oregon State, they got this game underway. I mean, they came out firing on all cylinders. As that SC offense just continues to have problems getting geared up.
Well, SC wasn't real effective on their first couple of possessions, but they really settled down after that. As you take a look at John Robinson going out to see about his injured player, Ifeanyi.
Now that's the situation. 37 seconds to play. Southern California fell behind 13-2 and then came back and scored the next 25 points in this game before Tim Alexander punched it in to make it a 27-19 game. Alexander and Don Shanklin, Oregon State's top two quarterbacks, knocked out of this game with a foot and a shoulder. Now Oregon State will have it 4th down and 2. They're 2 for 2 on 4th down situations today. I talked a moment ago, USC heads for Stanford a week from today, and you got to believe that's a game that Southern California feels it has to win, while Oregon State takes to the road to meet the Bruins of UCLA. Well, UCLA really having problems. Lost again today to the Bears of California.
That's 4 straight losses for Terry Donahue and his Bruins.
The last time Oregon State beat USC was back in 1967. It happened here at Parker Stadium. Southern California came in here ranked #1 in the land and lost to the Beavers 3-0. Ironically, Southern California went on to win the national championship that year. 37 seconds left. The Beavers will need a miracle.
They'll need a first down, first of all.
Mohammed, he's got the first down and more. There's the pitch for the 39 and out of bounds, and that'll stop the clock at the 31-second mark. Oh, what a pitch by Mohammed.
Yeah, it was very, very close to being a forward lateral, though. And had it been one, that play would have come back. He carries the ball down the field, picks up the first down. Then he's looking for J.J. Young to make a big play. And you can't tell from this angle, but he almost throws this ball out ahead of him. And that would have been a forward lateral.
A gain of 21 at the 39-yard line. 31 seconds to play. Wide to the left comes Joe Douglas. Sylvester Green is wide right. Mohammed with time. Now tucks it away. He's going to run it down to the 33, and those are the kind of hits that result in quarterbacks leaving ball games. Clock still running. 19-18.
They've got to hurry up. They have to hurry up. They are close enough to throw the ball into the end zone, but they have to stop the clock right now. Throw the ball away.
Oregon State with no timeouts, and that's exactly what Mohammed does, and then stops the clock with 9 seconds. Now Jerry Pettibone and his Beavers, as you have documented throughout this game, Rod Gilmore, they have been so close in so many games. Our season opener here on Prime at Arizona State, we saw them come so close to knocking off Bruce Snyder's Sun Devils. Couldn't quite get it done. He felt they were in the game last week against the Wildcats of Arizona.
Played them well until the 4th quarter. Ended up losing by 20, but not until very late when Arizona got some late scores. But right now, they'll need to pick up a touchdown. This may be the last play for them, or USC just needs to keep Oregon State in the field of play.
Mohammed under pressure, and he is not going to get away from that pack of horses, and that is the end of the ball game. The final play of the game. A wild finish here at Parker Stadium as Marcus Bonds drops Raheem Mohammed. This was a terrific football game. Oregon State, they had their chances. They took a 13-2 lead early. And then Southern California came storming back. A big, big win for John Robinson. The final score, the Trojans of Southern California 27, Oregon State 19. Back in a moment.
We understand the sooner doctors in Palmdale call doctors in Ventura, the sooner Jennifer Garcia gets to go outside and play. Robert Riccardi tells us he works the phones, buying his raw material in Los Angeles and selling it in Anaheim. These important calls are local toll calls. Soon Pacific Bell is reducing their average price 40%, automatically and permanently, which means a certain gentleman in Pasadena can spend more time courting a certain lady in Riverside. Pacific Bell.
An ordinary beer can, barely alive. Gentlemen, we can rebuild it. We have the technology. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic can. Coors Light will be that can. Better than it was before. Taller, thinner, silver.
Next on the Coors Light Channel.
A terrific come-from-behind effort by the Trojans of Southern California as they knock off Oregon State 27-19. Let's go down on the field with Paul Sunderland. Paul?
All right, thanks, Phil. A very happy Trojan head coach and number 2 quarterback. Played a lot like number 1 today. Coach, you said it all week. There are no easy ones in the Pac-10. You played a lot of young guys on defense, and in the second half they played pretty big.
Yeah, our conference is that every game I think is an even game, and I think it's going to be that way from here on out. Our football team came back today. We've had all kinds of injuries and all kinds of problems, and went down 13-2 and it came back. Brad Otten did a great job for us, and I just feel good that we have the kind of stuff to come back after some disappointments.
And now some 1-2 punch with both Sermons and Walters running it very, very well out of the tailback.
Yeah, Sean got sick today and really wasn't up to his full speed, but Rodney Sermons did well.
All right, congratulations. I know you want to get to your team. Thank you. And now we'll get to last week. It was Tony Graziani in Oregon. This week it's Brad Otten for USC against Oregon State. You got to feel good about a great performance. Threw for over 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and only took 1 sack.
Well, that's the main thing we're working on. It's not making negative plays and just having fun. We've been real tight the last few games. We just want to come out and be loose and have fun, and that's what we did.
Well, how do you figure that a team with as much talent as USC has comes out and plays tight? Are you supposed to make it look easy?
I think a lot of people put pressure on us. I mean, we are USC. Everyone comes out gunning for us. And I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, unneeded pressure. And it took a while for us even tonight just to relax and have fun. But once we did, things started clicking. The O-line started dominating, and things worked out pretty good.
Everybody's been looking forward to the confrontation between Rob Johnson and Steve Stenstrom next week up at Stanford. What do you think your situation will be then?
I'll be on the sidelines watching, rooting for Rob. Rob's going to be great. I mean, as soon as his ankle gets better, he's the guy, and he's going to take us to the Rose Bowl, and I'll be happy to sit and watch for a while.
All right. Congratulations to you. You had your moment and your opportunity. You certainly made the most of it. Congratulations.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. That's it from down here. Back up to you, Phil.
All right, Paul, what a terrific effort from Brad Otten and the entire Trojan offense and defense as they come from behind to win it over Oregon State. Back with some final thoughts in just a moment.
Get into Luxor Las Vegas.